What's up, friends, and happy Friday. Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Thanks as well for everybody who's watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Elijah Schmidt runs the operations here at Kansas Nation. With Dan Courtwright, I am Sean Kellerman. Let's kick off your weekend with a little sports talk, talking KU Mizzou football news here in the opening segment, plus transfer portal stuff, as always. I got a word on Cole Rosario, I'd like to say. No, everything I've heard, he's not in the portal. Hopefully that remains the case, as he's the lone quasi-contributor from last year's team who has not yet entered the portal. But I want to update you on a few guys who have committed as well. I'm sure over the weekend we're going to get more than a handful more across college basketball that commit elsewhere that we'll talk about, of course, next week on Rock Chalk Sports. Next segment, we're going to be joined by Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star. Shreyas will keep it real as he usually does. Want his thoughts on everything that's gone down. Of course, we had him on last week after the Floyd Bidunga news came out, and a plethora of Jayhawks have entered the portal since then. So we'll get his thoughts on that and, well, I guess the future of some of those guys, future of KU basketball, as we await some commits here on the call. After that, a couple KU running backs. Yasin Willis, who, Dan, he's going to be a problem next season. Looking forward to him. We're also going to hear from Kory, a talented new freshman.
Yeah, Kory, a very, very talented new freshman. Got him for about 7 minutes, which has been fantastic. And, he's an interesting cat, and I think that he's got a real chance to make an impact. Obviously, you have Edwards, you have Willis, right? We don't really know what Jalen Dupree's role is going to be in the running room. Obviously, right, he has a lot of experience at Colorado State, but I think Kory, his build and his size, I think is going to be really, really impactful for this Kansas football program, at least for the future. We'll see if we see him this year.
Sounds like it's trending in that direction. You never really know, of course, the first game or so, you'll get to see everybody probably against Long Island. But, obviously long-term goals for Amachree, short-term goals for guys like Willis.
I have a crazy future.
And Edwards, okay.
Kory over 0.5 touchdowns in the Long Island game.
Okay.
Lock it in.
All right, lock it in. 5 months in advance. Kansas, Long Island. Kansas third-string running back. Fourth string, maybe?
We don't know.
We'll see what happens
Maybe
with
first
Jalen Dupree. Justin Thurman, of course, is hurt. I know that you had him tabbed as the starting running back.
I did.
Which was an extremely, extremely interesting take. One of many interesting takes.
I would say
Dan
ambitious.
Courtwright has here
More
on
ambitious
Rock
than
Chalk Sports. Sports Stock Market.
Ding, 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 ding.
Following that, every Friday we take you around the world of sports. Dan's got a great collection of some things on here. We've got Zambonis. We've got Dan Orlovsky. I know you love a good conspiracy theory. You're always like, oh, will you take Nigel Peck? Will you take PJ Haggerty? You're just like, well, I just want to make this interesting, right? There's always something with Dan Courtwright who wants
There's
to make
always
it
something with I have cell phones on there. We'll get to it.
No Parker Brown on there, speaking of conspiracies. We got Jonathan Wallace, KU's running backs coach, assistant head coach. We'll hear from him following Sports Stock Market. And then we're talking KU baseball to close things out. KU baseball against number 12, UCF. UCF is 10-2 in conference play. KU baseball is 9-3 in conference play. First and second. A little bit of a cloudy weekend here on Mount Oriad, but it looks like they're going to get the games in as not a lot of storms. A little bit worried earlier in the week.
Yeah, they moved up today's game, so it is currently going probably right now, I would say.
Yeah.
4:05, I believe, is first pitch now.
At Hoagland Ballpark, there will be beer, there will be students, there will be baseball. That's just a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Lawrence. First, I want to tell you about Custom Lawn and Landscape, our partners here at Kansas Nation. They're going to make sure that your lawn is looking great. 7-step fertilization process, customlawn.com. They're scheduling consultations right now, so give them a visit. And if you can, tell them the guys at Kansas Nation sent you. We'd appreciate that quite a bit. Dan, some news. First off, Kansas and Mizzou came out. Don't know if you have any big thoughts on this, but came out that Hawks, Tigers, the border war for football is going to be Friday night, September 11th. So originally scheduled for Saturday, September 12th, Friday night, September 11th. Official kickoff time and TV designation going to be announced at a later date. Storage Mart Border Showdown is what it's officially called. I actually chose to wear this shirt before I got that email from Andy Eiche. Shout out to Andy Eiche, by the way. But yeah, this is a
he
shirt
won an award, him and BP.
Good. Brandon Perrell, Andy Eiche.
Yeah, they both won some award. I don't have it on me, but
Related to sports information.
related to sports
No,
information.
they help us out a
The two
ton.
hardest working sports information directors.
Is that a stab at Doug Self?
Well, no. I'd say, okay, the entire
Law firm.
law firm, the entire communications department, it all does a fantastic job.
We appreciate all the communication that they have.
Absolutely.
But anyway, no, this is a shirt that David Lawrence had made, and
So
he
I've-
played in this game.
Questions.
Kansas won 19-11. No
Okay,
questions yet. No questions
okay.
yet. Let me talk about it. Kansas won 19-11. The back says rolling with fam to Birmingham, and Kansas would go to the Birmingham Bowl.
That makes
And
sense.
this was DL's senior day in Lawrence. KU beat Mizzou.
So that
It actually wasn't this close either.
That's an old shirt then.
This is a custom-made shirt from 1981.
No
if I'm not
kidding.
mistaken.
And so he had that made.
Well, he had that made, I don't know, probably 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a vintage shirt that like he made and just gave to
That
you.
would
as a
probably
gift.
be cooler.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's
but
exciting.
yeah.
Okay, so 19-11 was a score. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I think it was 19-3, and then Mizzou
And it
scored
says,
late.
this ain't no rivalry. It's a damn war.
Yeah.
And they started it, which is true.
Anyway, I have a ton of KU shirts, a ton of sports shirts, as anybody who's watched the show
Sure.
has seen. Both of us have a large collection, but I happened to break this one out. I was like, oh, it's a little nippy outside. I got to go with the long sleeve.
It is a little nippy
and
outside.
Sure enough, then Andy Eiche sends over this email updating KU Mizzou. Any major thoughts on this? The KU Mizzou rivalry been played 121 games, the 10th most played rivalry in all of college football. KU trails by a couple games, but 26-16-3 in Lawrence. Kansas led last year in Columbia 21-6 before eventually falling, and this one's going to be a Friday night affair at the booth.
So I like the fact that it's a Friday night affair because of the fact that this is a standalone game, and this is going to be probably the most talked about game for the entirety of the season, right? In terms of Kansas fans. In terms of nationally, that's the only thing that's going to be going on Friday. Maybe there's some other Friday night games as well. Maybe the Max plan or whatever. But it's a standalone Friday night game. So this is going to be massively picked up, and I can only imagine it's going to kind of reinvigorate some of the old hatred, not only just in Kansas and Missouri, but kind of around the nation of like, oh man, remember how good of a rivalry that was? Man, that started back in the Civil War, all this different kind of stuff. So I'm a fan of it. I like the fact that it's a standalone game, and I like the fact that I'm so excited for this game, and I always do this to myself. Anytime that you see Mizzou on the schedule, right, because it was taken away from us for so long, that's like the one that I have circled. Every Kansas fan has that one circled, and they're like, that's going to be like the game that I pay the most attention to. That's the one that I'm going to be the most passionate about. That's one that I'm either A, going to get the most upset about, or B, celebrate the most about.
Well, you look at the schedule, and I've said this before, through 2012, football, basketball, whatever it is, absolutely, that's the game that you circle. Kansas, Mizzou, football, and then the 2 games in basketball, that's what you circle. Since Mizzou left the conference, there's no games to circle at all in the conference season. You have non-con games, and then you want to win all your conference games, but there's not a single other opponent for Kansas that you look at in the conference and circle that and say, we absolutely have to win that game. For KU Mizzou, that's always how it was. And, they're back at it. Who knows what the schedule is going to look like in the future, but hopefully Kansas can get right after blowing that lead against Mizzou last year for Faroe Field. Kansas will host 6 games at David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium. The first game is also a Friday night affair. Kansas against the Long Island Sharks. Absolute great mascot. The Sharks.
Fins up.
Fins up.
That's your thing.
That's safety. Is that what they do? Okay, I like it.
I understand it's also safety, but
Friday night, September 4th, and then KU Mizzou. Friday night, September 11th. Kansas will host Middle Tennessee Family Weekend, October 3rd. Baylor will be homecoming, October 24th. UCF, November 7th, and BYU, November 21st. But as Kansas has done in the past, a couple Friday night games to get things going.
Speaking of KU football, by the way, just wanted to again shout this out that they are going to have an open practice tomorrow. Gates open at 10 o'clock. Practice starts at 11 o'clock. This is going to be in lieu of the spring games. So be sure to get out there to Lawrence High School. They're going to be hosting Rally House is going to be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun, right? We know spring games have kind of gone away with the wind. So this is a nice thing to kind of, get people out there to go ahead and see actually in person the Kansas football team and what they're going to look like for this upcoming fall. So be sure to get out there to Lawrence High tomorrow starting at 11 o'clock. Gates open at 10.
Yeah, gates open at 10, and there's going to be all sorts of fun for the family. They're going to have inflatables, games, and like Dan said, there will be all sorts of options for purchasing, perusing, and hopefully taking in some KU
What if you
football
can get like
practice.
food there? Can you get food there?
I'd imagine they would have some food trucks.
Maybe they had some food trucks.
See if we can find that out before the end of the show. All right, let's talk portal stuff. Dan, major updates across college basketball. JP Estrella, he has committed to Michigan. He was the guy that you brought up yesterday. Interesting, Michigan was the team that eliminated Estrella's old team. That's just so weird, man. It's so weird. That was, what, 2 weeks ago? Less than 2 weeks ago, and now he's on the other team.
I know.
I don't know.
It is crazy.
I absolutely loathe the transfer portal, as is probably not news to any viewers. But any other movement, any other rumblings you're hearing here in the last 24 hours?
Yeah. So in terms of David Punch, as of right now, that's the guy that I'm the highest on. Still,
you're the highest on David Punch. Okay.
I would. Well, yeah, it's him or Wes Enos. I would say I'm the highest on. In terms of the guys who are, like Flory, sure. But, like, we're not going to, whatever. The David Punch, I'm probably the highest on just because I think he'd be a nice fit for the power forward role. Apparently, a lot of people are saying that the Texas Longhorns are going to be in on him. He's from Texas, which makes a little bit of sense. Other schools being thrown around are Kansas, also Louisville and Michigan. There's Michigan again, right? So Kansas is really going to have to make a push for David Punch. I think that Kansas, obviously, we saw him twice this year, and we understand that this kid is a really, really solid talent. I would imagine Kansas is probably going to maybe up the offer a little bit, but a lot of people are pointing fingers at Texas right now, the Longhorns, to maybe land David Punch. So that's another thing. Miles Byrd, that was a guy that we had mentioned. I don't think I brought up the stats with him, but that was another guy who's really highly touted in the transfer portal. He is now heading over to Providence. Also, John Blackwell finally did enter the portal. A note on Paul-Mbia. Apparently, he has not officially entered the portal yet, which I think is interesting.
I saw that on 24/7 Sports. Were there any other outlets you could point to?
I saw it on 27 Sports as well. Flory is officially in. Bryson is officially in. Everyone else is officially in the portal, but Paul-Mbia is not officially in the portal yet. So maybe something to keep an eye out for. I think maybe just maybe there are talks happening within the locker rooms that we don't know in terms of, hey, Bill Self's trying to get him to stay or whatever.
Could be paperwork.
It could be paperwork. Who knows? But we saw this with Trey Lathan at the end of football season, where he said he was going to enter the portal, never officially did, and then just wound up not doing it and sticking around at Kansas. So there is something to be said about that. At least on the football side of things, this is something that we've seen before. Flory Badunga continues to pull in offers from St. John's, Louisville, Michigan, the usual suspects, Duke, that kind of thing. In terms of, just some other guys, Masamba Diop more than likely is not going to Kansas. I know a lot of fingers are pointing elsewhere. Aside from Kansas, I still like him. Obviously, we saw him hit a couple of threes against Kansas, so we know he's able to shoot the three, and he's also a really nice rim protector as well. Juke Harris now with Michigan, so there is that. John Blackwell, like I said, he's officially in the transfer portal. A lot of people are looking at Illinois and Duke for him. PJ Haggerty, a lot of people are looking at LSU. People are pointing fingers saying he's probably going to go to LSU. Like I said, Miles Byrd to Providence. So, there are some guys who are still out there. Isaiah Johnson was one of the names that we had mentioned who, is potentially linked to KU. There's nothing that has come out about him doing an official visit yet, but there are rumblings about him potentially visiting. Cameron Taylor, who was scheduled to appear on campus this upcoming weekend, has apparently canceled his official visit, but Kansas is still super high on the list for him. So not entirely sure what has happened there. Obviously, we're not in with these guys, so we're not entirely sure what goes on in the outer workings of this or inner workings of this or whatever. But again, he is not taking Kansas out of the mix. He just has essentially canceled his official visit.
Okay, well, not a ton other than Byrd and Estrella, guys who have officially committed.
Santos Cyril's the guy who I talked about. He's going to Michigan.
I mentioned this. JP Estrella officially committed to Michigan. This is on 24/7 Sports. Estrella, 21st overall on that website. Miles Byrd, who you mentioned, San Diego State to Providence, committed. He is number 9 overall on 24/7 Sports. Again, a lot of question marks at this point. People think Colin Chandler, who's 40th overall, is going to go to BYU. He is a sharpshooter from Kentucky. And overall, again, no surprises yet, but we have a lot of time to figure this out. Still have a couple weeks of the portal, being able to enter the portal, and then realistically, you have as long as you want, I guess, in theory, before the season starts to commit to a program. But a word on Cole Rosario, because Kansas has had, it seems like everybody enter the portal except Cole Rosario. Corbin Allen redshirted last year. He's not in the portal yet. And then a couple guys at the end of the bench. Rosario, a guy that started at Kansas beginning of the season. Remember, all the chatter in the summer was about Rosario and how much of an impact player he's going to be, even though he didn't get here until the summer. People talked about how he's the best shooter on the team, really impressed with him, doesn't take possessions off. I still remember talking to him in June, and he said, if you're the best player in the gym, you need to find a new gym. Right. He wants to be surrounded by greatness. I don't think it scares him like it scares other players when other talented guys come in. I think he wants to prove his worth and get out there. And then from a Kansas standpoint, I guess specifically talking about the fans, there is a very realistic world where Cole Rosario returns to KU, and honestly, just by saying he's going to return to KU becomes one of the most beloved Jayhawks in quite some time.
Yeah.
The fact that you're giving a second year to the Kansas program, which shouldn't be a lot, but in today's day and age it is, and also the commitment, despite everybody else going elsewhere, the commitment to staying at KU and being a Jayhawk and being the only recognizable name to the casual fan when next year's roster comes out, late night in the fog happens. He was already a fan favorite because of how hard he plays. He attacks the offensive glass, like I said, doesn't take possessions off, and
had a cool mustache.
Of course, the mustache factor, great. You know, people know he's a good shooter, even though shot didn't fall. He basically came in and almost saved Kansas' season. You know, if not for Marco Jackson being beat on that straight line drive, we're going to overtime. And Rosario was out there for the entire comeback. He was plus 10 in that game, if I'm not mistaken, against St. John's. Was out there when Kansas came back. Offensive rebounds, again, creating extra possessions, plus ridiculously athletic, can throw it down, great in transition. And you just can see that he's going to improve so much. I understand all these other guys are in the portal. It's unlikely. I don't know. Maybe Kansas will get 1 or 2 of them back. I don't know. But if Rosario were to come out and say he's staying, talk about the jolt of energy. Unlike anything ever seen from a guy who averages few minutes and as few points as he did. Because people will say, all right, we're going to war with Cole Rosario. And I think that not only rejuvenates the fans a little bit, but definitely pushes him to be the best version of himself, even though I think he already had that fire and understands what it takes. I don't know, because we're going to get excited about all the guys that Kansas brings in the transfer portal, but whenever there's a chance to have that extra connection, that extra time with an individual player, it's just special. And I think that that a second year of Rosario, especially with him being maybe the only returning guy, I just think he could be a fan favorite that we'll remember for years on end.
Yeah, when you look at Cole Rosario, I 100% agree with you, by the way. When you look at his player arc, right, where you start off the season starting for the Jayhawks as a true freshman who came in super late, and you earn that starting spot, all of a sudden it gets taken away from you, and then you get into what I always deemed as 7-minute purgatory, where he would only play 7 minutes a game. And then it got even less to where he wasn't playing at all for a good stretch of games. Then, you know, towards the end of this regular season, into the postseason, started playing a little bit more down the stretch. When you look at that player arc, that is the epitome of, okay, that guy's going to transfer out. You know what I mean? A guy who started, then they took away all of his minutes. He feels like he can do it somewhere else because they feel slighted or whatever it may be. But that's not how Rosario works. And this isn't just speculation. This is, this has come from different sources who have told me this. And this has come, from just what we have been able to see out there, is that I think that he wants to prove to the Kansas coaching staff that they didn't make a mistake at first whenever they decided to start him, right? The shots weren't falling. I get it, right? He was making some mistakes. I understand. So they took away his playing time. There was other guys out there who made more of an impact on the court than Rosario did. I think Rosario, and I love that you brought up what he said in that preseason press conference about, hey, if you're the best player in the gym, go find another gym. Well, right now, at least last season, he wasn't the best player in the gym. You had Darren Peterson. You had Flory Bidunga. You had a number of different players who, were, for the most part, better than he was. Now, this is his chance to really be able to come out and sort of be, one of those beloved Jayhawks for next year who is going to be a quote-unquote veteran guy, even though he's only going to be a sophomore. He's the only returner that you have left, right, who has been in the system, who knows Coach Self. So he's going to have sort of a leg up on a lot of these guys, a lot of these transfers who Kansas is going to be bringing in.
Yeah, and again, just the connection with the fans. I tried to talk myself out of this earlier this week when we were talking about all the guys who got in the portal and say, we just got to accept that this is how it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the same connection with the fans, but at Kansas, there's always going to be something special. And it's like that a lot of places. Michigan State has good retention. They love their guys. Their guys are there a lot.
Yeah,
Purdue. Purdue, another good example. But at Kansas, it's just different, like we constantly talk about. And I think despite the fact that these last 2 years, Kansas has lost the majority of their impact players, after brief stints in the program, if you have a guy come back second season, a guy who was already loved, that everybody cheered for, that everybody, anytime he shot, just begging for a ball to go in because you want him to stay on the court, you want him to contribute and showcase what else he can do. I just think that he would be seriously a KU legend if he's able to come back. If there's a world where Cole Rosario comes back, Kansas surrounds him with really good players, and he's an impact player on a Kansas team that wins the Big 12 or goes deep in March Madness, I mean, that's the stuff you're talking about. That's the stuff that we live for as KU basketball fans.
100%. And you know what? I'm going to bring this up. Two guys who stick out to me. Number one is Flory Bidunga. Right? When this happened last year, people often forget. And it's because of the fact that right now, very different circumstances. And this is kind of the fun duality of the college basketball player versus the college basketball fan, right? Where Flory entered the portal, but with intentions to come back to Kansas. He winds up coming back to Kansas. All of a sudden, people were elated with joy. They loved it. They're like, oh my gosh, we're getting Flory back. This is amazing. And fans fell in love with Flory, right? You look at Hunter Dickinson. I mean, when he came back for his senior year, people were really excited about that. Again, we've talked about this sort of almost ad nauseum about how Hunter Dickinson gets an unbelievable amount of hate, and we don't know where it comes from. It's just because of the fact that he's the face of the two worst maybe seasons in all of Kansas basketball.
And also the fact that he had Flory Bidunga on the bench behind him. And people didn't like that Dickinson wasn't athletic. Particularly.
The dude was a walking double-double. He was an All-American.
They loved that Bidunga was a younger, twitchy, athletic backup, and they wanted to see more of him. Yeah. Well, now if Flory Bidunga is the first-team All-Conference player and the Big 12 Player of the Year and leaves, how do you get remembered?
So that's the duality of it. Yeah, it's because when he came back last year, people were like, Flory's the best. We love him, fan favorite. Now he's leaving again, and now he's... I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He's gonna be one of the most hated Jayhawks, former Jayhawks that we've seen.
And I said that to you off air earlier. I said we'll see, but I think he's kind of getting a pass right now. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe people are just holding on to the hope that he'll come back. And all of us have that hope a little bit, but nothing we've seen is hinting at Flory coming back.
No,
if he doesn't, I mean. I don't know that we've seen that before. Again, I mean, we've never seen it before.
No.
A guy at Kansas performs at a fringe All-American level where he's first-team All-Conference and leaves.
Treating Kansas like a stepping stone is something that I feel like we're not used to.
And it's something that happens other places. We just haven't seen it here. Look at North Carolina.
Right.
Caleb Love went to Arizona. Elliot Cadeau went to Michigan. I mean, look at Arizona. Henry Vasar went to North Carolina. Like, there's
KJ
all
Lewis
sorts.
went to Georgetown.
It just hasn't happened here at Kansas, and we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's kind of a messy situation. We talk about that to talk about the good things, Friday vibes, which for me is why I wanted to bring up Rosario.
Yeah.
He's got a great NIL deal with our friends over at Uplift Coffee. I hope that he's able to really entrench himself in the Lawrence community, because if you plant your foot in the ground and say, I'm staying, I'm at Kansas, this is literally the birthplace of college basketball, the inventor of the game coached here, all the great things that KU basketball brings to the table, then you have a chance to be remembered in a legendary light.
Yeah, and just one more note on it. The fact that I don't know the inner workings, like I said, but more than likely, he's probably going to get a pay cut. And we kind of know what he was getting paid in NIL. Probably was a little too much for how much he did wind up playing. You're probably going to assume that maybe he takes a pay cut. Now, maybe since he's going to be the only returning guy, probably not. You don't think so anymore?
I mean,
think so. Everything has shifted now that, Jamari and Marco and, Bryson and all these guys have left. Maybe they'll keep it around the same. But the fact that he is staying, I think, is incredibly important. And, I like the fact that you did bring that up, because, look, as of right now, we've talked about this too. As of right now, it's all bad news. Yeah, there's nobody on the roster except for Cole Rosario and Will Thingvall and Corbin Allen, right? But it's going to get better. Kansas is going to get their guys. Kansas is not going to go into the 26-27 season with 3 players on their roster. They're going to get their guys. Right now, it's bad. Have some foresight and be able to look into the future and understand that Kansas will get their guys.
Looking forward to it. We'll see if anything comes out. I mean, it would be certainly a welcome sight if Cole Rosario were to post something on socials or anything saying he's coming, just because, again, there's been a lot of bad news. And we knew it was going to be like this, though. That's how the portal works. It's bad news not just for Kansas. It's bad news for every program out there who says, we just lost all of our guys. Have to wait and see how that goes. Shreyas Laddha will be on next segment. He's got to be getting close here to the Kansas Nation studio.
Are actually going to play Yasin, Willis, and Kory.
A little pushback. How about that? He's going to push back his time of showing up. Shreyas
He's
Laddha,
a little late. Late.
Love him over there at the KC Star. We're going to hear from Yasin, Willis and Kory Amachree after this. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
Hey, Kansas fans. Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching Kansas Nation.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game in 2026 with Game Day.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
With Jayhawk checking from Central Bank, Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card, a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. And as the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. Jayhawkchecking.com, Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas. Member FDIC. Shreyas Laddha pushed back his arrival time. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the KU football building, hear from a couple tailbacks. Yasin Willis, I was really impressed with. He is going to be a problem this upcoming season for Jayhawk football. We're going to hear from Willis and Amachree. Here's Yasin first yesterday.
On campus.
It's been great, man. Very exceptionally well. I got to build a great relationship with a lot of the guys on the team. Really build a great bond, especially with my position coach. Just getting into the office with him a little bit more, just going over film, little things like that, just building a lot of camaraderie with the whole team. Yeah, these past couple months really been great, been a blessing for me. It's a very different environment from where I'm from. It was definitely new when I first got out here, but guys, coaches helped me get comfortable, so I feel good.
What's new or what's different maybe compared to your other experiences?
I'd say just the environment-wise, I'd say the community, the people in the community actually. These people are very welcoming out here. It's kind of like I'm a very up north guy, so not really used to that, how welcoming everybody is. So I like that about Kansas out here.
What's like an experience you've had that's demonstrated that to you?
Let me see. We went to like a what is it called? Like a get together for the newcomers, and just me and other people on the staff outside of football, just being able to have conversations with them and even other students that play different sports and stuff. You're not really trying to hold your tongue when you're speaking, you know what I'm saying? It's like being a little nervous. Everybody's very welcoming, so I felt very comfortable having a conversation with anybody.
Take us back through the recruiting process. How did you get hooked up with Kansas, and how fast did it all go?
Coach Wallace reached out when I hit the portal. He told me he'd been watching me for some time now. And he said he really wanted me to get up here for a visit. So, I took chances. I came down here, got to speak ball with him a little bit, things, a little more personal things as well, and spoke to him about how we can, make this work and be on the same page to where, he's being a great coach for me, and I'm learning from him and putting that out there on the field. So.
How has it helped you? I know last year you played Clemson and Miami and Tennessee and a lot of good defenses. How's that helped you with your experience and bringing it here?
A whole lot, because you even when you learn it from back then things, you take that and, you try to build on it, and then you share that information, especially with the young guys that's in the room. So, having that experience back then playing against those defenses, it teaches me how to play smarter, play faster. So, watching that film back then, I got a lot of things that I've seen that I have to work on. So, as of right now, that's what I'm trying to do, perfect my craft.
I guess for anyone that hasn't seen you play before, how would you describe your running style?
Very physical, downhill. I tell everybody it'll be hard to stop me from one person, and I don't like to go down, I like to fight for the extra yards, especially after contact. So I just say very aggressive, very versatile, I can catch out of the backfield as well.
What was Coach Wallace's pitch or discussions with you about your role and what they liked about you and what they felt like you could bring?
Him and Coach K basically told me they love how downhill I am with the ball. They like how I get vertical after all my cuts and stuff like that. They also notice little things like how I can read certain defenses, like when people blitzing, and also pass blocking too. They want me to play a big role in that pass blocking. So third, fourth downs, they want me to be able to say, all right, let's play Yasin. They want to make sure that it ain't even a question that we're going to get a first down. So
tell us about some of the other guys in the room. What are some skill sets you're seeing from Dylan?
Oh yeah, them guys is amazing, man. I love the running back room. Dylan, especially, me and him probably the closest with each other. We hang out outside of football. We have a lot of conversations, just really get to know each other. Dylan's a great person, and fast. blazing speed. It's crazy how he hits the hole, and you know, it's some things that he got in his game that I try to learn from him, and it's some things in my game that he try to learn from me. With the other young guys, like, you know, you got Kory, freshman that just came in. He's very talented. You know, week by week he's been getting better, especially this spring ball. You know, it's still little things that he has to work on, but you know, we're constantly teaching him. And the good thing that I like about Kory is that he likes to learn. He want to listen. He know he got vets in the room with him, so he's going to take the time out to, you know, really learn the game with us. So.
Did you have any idea about Kansas before you got here, and maybe how did that compare with what you've experienced?
I've known about Kansas football, but I never really was like dove in deep with Kansas football. But you know, hopped into the portal and got out here, learned a lot of good things about this facility.
What do you want to learn from Dylan, and maybe what do you think he might be able to learn from you?
I like his vision, the way how he sees the whole. You watch practice, you kind of could tell he kind of like knows where the ball going to hit before the play even runs, and I feel like I do an exceptional job at that, but I know for a fact that I could be better. So that's one thing I know I can learn from Dylan, and one thing for me that he even says that he can learn, like just making sure he get downhill, being more aggressive. You know, that's good.
Your running style, where does that come from?
But then I feel like I've been that way since a kid. Even the way like my dad, my uncle, how I was coached is just everything just aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like bring the heat, be that playmaker. That's kind of the road that I always had to take on since I was a kid. You know, so my dad always preached that to me. Make sure I'm being aggressive downhill. You know, don't be soft.
Yeah. Have you always been one of the bigger kids on the playground or growing up?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it was to a point probably like around 9 to like 13. I was a little like lengthy, but like right when I hit 13 going on, I started getting a little bigger. Then a lot of things changed for me.
So is it your family, when you mentioned like not wanting one person to bring you down, is it your family that kind of instilled that in you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like my dad, he played running back when he was when he played in high school. So I tell you this crazy story. He showed me a video of him running the ball one time when I was about 9 years old. He ran 2 guys over and scored like a 60-yard touchdown. And ever since then, like I don't know what it was, a spark just came into me. When I touched the field, that's all I thought about. Like aggressive, get downhill. I want to run somebody over. That was like my first instinct growing up. Because backyard football, you know, you playing on the concrete, everything aggressive. Like you just want to run through people. So that's kind of what I was growing up on.
Are there any runs in college you can remember that embody that for you?
Absolutely. When we played Tennessee, my first carry when I ran through the DN face and got 5 on that carry, that right there.
Away from the field, what sort of stuff are you into? What sort of
music, so I actually be making.
Yasin Willis, man, sure seems like he's going to be a problem for defenses this upcoming season, Dan.
Stop making fun of me.
He's got some size, and as Jonathan Wallace says, which we'll hear from him a little bit later in the show, gets his knees up quick, gets his knees up high, and he's got great size.
Right. Well, that's the thing is, like, when you look at him, you're like, that's a perfect kind of running back that you see run through the guards and get you 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But as we saw in his Syracuse film, like, the dude's athletic. He can do it on the outside, too. He's jumping over people. He's just a freak, a monster, and really excited to have him in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to call him Frank Gore right away. I don't know if you want to, but
I don't want.
I was going to say,
I'm going to call him. You know what I'm going to call him?
Juice.
You know what I'm going to call him? Yasin Willis.
Let's go back to the Kansas football building. We're going to hear from a talented freshman that a lot of people are really high on, Kory Amachree. Here's Kory yesterday.
For first spring been so far and settling into college football?
Shoot, my bad.
Oh, you're good.
My phone dropped. Yeah, it's been exciting, man. It's been crazy. Everything I ever could have dreamed for, you know, ever since a kid, you know, working to get to college ball. So now that I'm here, you know, it's all about putting in the work.
Why did you pick KU in the first place?
You know, like I said, man, great team, great culture. Definitely just fired up about how everybody interacts here. It's exciting, you know, to play for Kansas. You know, it's something special.
I think coaches have talked about how physically you're ready. Like, they don't have to wait for you to develop necessarily. Like, was that a intentional thing you did ahead of this season, or have you just always been maybe ready to make that jump to college?
I would say kind of both. I've always been more of a stronger kid because, physically inclined, because growing up with my brother, he's 2 years older than me. He plays at Bowling Green, and I've always just done the same thing that he did. So when he started working out, for football, for real, like back in 8th grade, I was doing it in 6th grade. So, I tell people, I started early. So that's one big thing I would say for that. But in terms of preparing for college, back in high school, I knew I was going to early enroll. So I made it a point, take every rep like it was in college, rep. Studying the playbook ever since I got here, football's my life, man. I'm dedicating everything to this, you only get one shot, so I'm making the most of it, trying to.
Why was it important for you to early enroll?
Definitely because, like y'all said, man, just learning the playbook, you get more, and even just outside of learning the playbook and all that, I just love football, and I knew I would love college football even more. So it's really about just playing, man, having fun. So I would say that's a big piece, outside of obviously getting to learn the playbook better, get more developed. It's really just I knew I would love it. So I came up here, I'm having fun with my guys. So
has anything surprised you about the college level so far?
Surprised me? I wouldn't say surprised. Like y'all said, man, I tried to come in ready for anything. So I kind of just taken it all with a grain of salt. This how college football is. I kind of was expecting expecting everything. So I was trying to come in, level-headed and just take everything for what it is. So
what's maybe one thing that you took with a grain of salt that's happened that you're like, okay, this is just how college football is?
I wouldn't say anything in particular. I mean, it's all, football at the end of the day. So, just everybody, it's obviously a different level than high school. So going from that jump, I would say like when I first got here, like week 1, I might have been a little bit more developed, but it's still a crazy jump. So just adapting to that, the play speed of everybody. I mean, I tried to match that as best I could. But it's still a jump regardless, no matter who you are. So just adapting to that, I would say.
What was day one of that with that playbook like for you? You got it in front of you. You opened it up. What was that
playbook? Like? It's definitely something that I say I'm gonna be in this. I'm gonna be studying this, a lot. So I had to, crack down on that. Yeah. Just study from day one. So, but that's nothing new.
At first, I mean, it's bigger than you've seen, I'm sure, right?
For sure. Like, high school it can't compare. I mean, it really can't. So, I knew I'd be in it a lot. So but like I said, man, I love it all. Like I love this. I love football.
How do you attack that? Like, try to read the whole thing all at once, or you break it down into sections, or do you sleep with it under your pillow, or how do you attack something like that when you want to do it so bad?
Yeah, I kind of just break it down into segments. Like, I obviously have my training time, and then I have my study time, and I have my school time, and I have my social time, because you need social time, obviously, just to make sure it's not like at all football, like, you feel me? So, but yeah, like I said, break it down into components and attack it all each at once. So.
Hey, Kory, what are those components for you that you break it into for the playbook?
Yeah. Oh, the playbook?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Okay.
Did you read it cover to cover first time, or did you take time with, okay, I'm just going to focus on this part of it or whatever?
Yeah, I kind of just, I kind of just like, I don't really know like what y'all asking, I guess.
Like maybe there are breakdowns in past concepts, run concepts. Like, are there ways the playbook's broken down that you break it down to? Like, I'm gonna focus on this today, this tomorrow, and that kind of thing.
No, not really. I kind of just take each install and just.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Take about each install. So.
You mentioned your brother. How useful is it having someone who has done many of the same things as you, who can be as a model in many ways?
Definitely, man. I could talk about my brother for hours, man. Just my whole family, even. My sister, she plays soccer at Toledo, so she's 4 years older than me, and just having my dad also played football at Michigan State, so my mom was a gymnast, so having a whole family of athletes just definitely really set me apart, I would say. If I didn't have them, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at. But specifically, my brother, obviously we're close in age, we do the same thing, so he definitely iron sharpens iron, like they say. So even now, we still in contact. We talk every day about what we doing. Just still trying to, get better than each other, just that friendly competition. But, yeah, it's definitely very useful. Him being 2 years older than me, he got to show me from a young age, what football was all about, what being a man was all about. So he taught me a lot, I would say. So,
Kory, you grew up near Michigan State's campus. Your dad played there. But I know there was a long relationship with Terry Samuel here. Just talk about how that played into the recruiting and to help you, to get you to Kansas.
Yeah, love Terry, man. Love that whole family. Back in the day, actually, my dad and Coach Samuel have had a relationship for a long time now, just being friends. And I think that translated into my family, being friends with their family. My sister was friends with Brooklyn Samuel, the daughter. And I was friends with Draven Samuel, his son. So we just always been tight, man, going on vacation together. We always been tight. So definitely, I mean, it wasn't like the only factor, obviously, but it definitely played a role, Love that family, man. So.
That's KU freshman running back Kory Amachree, who, again, early enrollee, Dan, as Jonathan Wallace spoke of, which we'll have a little bit later in the show for you. That's not nothing. I mean, that means something. The guys are here in the spring. Not everybody's here in the spring. Not everybody is healthy in the spring, but Amachree is one of those guys, and you got to think those reps are going to bode well for him.
Yeah, 100%. And, you talk about a guy who is an early enrollee. They don't look like that, right? He's got some size to him. He's got that build, and, he's going to be I almost said he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for Kansas football in the future. There was a couple of questions in there that I thought were interesting that I did want to, hone in on. They're asking him about the install, whether he reads the playbook from front to back or whatever that may be. That's not how it works. I don't know if journalists know this. That's not how installs work. The way the installs work is essentially you go piece by piece, whether that be base sets and then, maybe some other things. Maybe you go nasty sets, then you go spreads, then you go, different personnel like a 21 or a 12 or different things like that. You go piece by piece because it makes it easier on every single other person. Nobody ever gets the playbook and reads it front to back. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would be hard-pressed to find any college who even gives them the entire playbook right away. Usually they'll give you sheets whenever there's a new install. So I did want to say that a little bit, that Kory Amachree, he did a good job of answering the questions, but he's just like, hey, I'm just taking it one install at a time, which is what you do. Nobody ever just reads the full playbook front to back. That was a silly thing that I wanted to get out there, that I think he did a good job of handling those questions.
The homework, is a little bit different than just pulling an all-nighter, if you will.
Right, yeah, you don't just read it front to back and go, got it, done. Like, that's not how it works. That's not, you go based on install. You do an install before practice, and then you run through that particular set of installs, whether that be 5 plays or 10 plays or whatever it may be. Usually it's not a lot of plays. And then you do that at practice, and then the next day you either do the same thing or there is another install. Usually you spend 2 to 3 days on an install. So there is, again, a little side tangent of mine, but whatever.
One thing I want to ask you about as it relates to the running back room, we haven't had Jalen Dupree. Amachree is a guy who we're really high on, but he's probably not going to play a ton this season. So that leaves you with, hopefully Dupree gets healthy and is an impact player, but it leaves you with Yasin, Willis, and Dylan Edwards. Willis, a guy who I assume if Kansas does at times, I don't know how likely this is, but we were talking about earlier this week when we were talking about the tight ends, show some 14 personnel, you got to think Willis would be the guy back there, because I mean, who knows? You never know what Coach K's got up his sleeve, but Willis has good size, and you've got 4 tight ends with good size.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you would think
Is
probably.
that something we would ever see?
Now, okay, so I do have another, and this is I'm tapping into my inner Andy Kotelnicki as much as I possibly can, but if you go 14 personnel, you got to think 2 of them might be spread out wide. So you like the perimeter blocking better from a tight end than you do primarily from wide receivers, right? So that's where I think maybe you could go on the outside of things, where you go trips on the right side. You got 2 tight ends playing the 2 inside slot receivers. All of a sudden, you got a nice little jet sweep right there with that wall just blocked off, ready for Dylan Edwards to turn that corner. Again, if you go 14 personnel with 4 attached tight ends, that is also just that's like a flying V at that point. That's like some 1892 Harvard versus Princeton type
Let's
style.
See it a couple times.
All right, let's see
but
it. Why
if that
not?
happens, you're going with Willis.
Yes, if that happens, you're going with Willis. More than likely, if you have 14 personnel, I would imagine 2 of them are spread out wide.
Right.
So, again, a lot of different things that you can utilize, but Yasin Willis is such a versatile guy, right? 2 completely different styles of running backs, but Dylan Edwards has been proven that he can run it up the gut every once in a while, right? Yasin Willis has proven that he can go on the outside every once in a while. Primarily, you're going to see Yasin Willis be the inside the tackles guy, Dylan Edwards be the outside the tackles guy, but you never know. With Indy Kotelnicki, with the way that he runs his style of offense, could shake some things up, and I'm really anticipating to see what he has in store, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Well, I am so excited to bring on Shreyas Laddha.
Me too.
Kansas City Star. He's going to come on, I believe, next segment. Shreyas will be here to talk transfer portal, and we know he loves talking spring football as well. So we'll chat with Shreyas after this. Rock Chalk Sports rolls on. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Miles Schneer's Crown Automotive, founding partner of Kansas Nation. Visit them at crownautomotive.com. Experience the Crown difference. Carfax top-rated dealer, Crown Automotive.
Spring into something fun at Family Leisure, America's largest pool and spa dealer. Don't miss out. Buy your new pool today. Enjoy it all summer. Spring specials on hot tubs and swim spas. Spas from $34.99. Go with the pros. Fast professional delivery and installation. Check out this season's hottest patio furniture designs. Family Leisure also offers the highest quality chemicals, toys, and accessories to keep the fun going all summer long. Your one-stop shop for family fun. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
APR plus $1,000 customer bonus, or get 0.9% APR on a 2026 Tiguan. Luxury just got a new definition.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's, with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the Class Ring Company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here at ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. Going to be joined in studio by Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star. First, want to tell you about our friends over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Mitch Bales and his team will get you back in the game. The spring and summer months are upon us. Make sure you're feeling your best. Swing by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Tell them the guys at Kansas Nation sent you. They can help you out. Your first visit is completely complimentary. If you have low energy, struggling with weight gain, struggling for any other reason that makes you feel not your best, they can help you. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence, the place to be. All right, well, they call him Sugar Coat Shreyas because no matter how bad things are, he's always going to make it seem not that bad. Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star. Appreciate you coming in studio. Hey, a lot of portal news that's come out. Of course, we had you on last Friday. That was after the Flory news, and a plethora of Jayhawks have come on and said they're going to the portal since then. What do you make of all this news and kind of where everything stands right now?
Well, I make of there's a lot of chaos going on right now in the portal. My life is filled with a lot of unsaved numbers and texts sent to agents and players that mostly have not answered back. And I think the panic meter for Kansas fans is too high for how little time it's been, to be honest with you.
Did you expect anything different?
No. Honestly, the thing is, I feel like the passage of information this year, I wrote about it in my mailbag, between players and agents to now, this year has been a lot less. Everyone seems a lot more mum, at least Kansas related. Players are not picking up phone calls or texting back. Agents are giving you limited information. So it's been a fun, digging and digging and digging.
Fun is a word.
Yeah. I think it's exhilarating. My entire morning has been full with phone calls and texts and good and bad for Kansas.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Anybody you want to hone in on in particular? I know that we had inklings that there was going to be some movement. I mean, 3,000 plus players in the portal out of 5,600 or whatever. So everybody's got guys who are moving, but the big fella, Bryson Tiller, came out after Bidunga, and then evidently Paul Mbia is not yet in the portal, but those two came out first, intentions to go into the portal, and since then you had Marco Jackson, Jamari McDowell, and later Sami Scalderone. So you've got Cole Rosario right now, Corbin Allen, potential guys who could come back for Kansas, but I don't know. Any major thoughts on those guys who have intentions to or are already in the portal?
Nothing super crazy. I think my reporting have talked about Bryson Tiller was expected. There was some stuff behind the scenes where, candidly, he told me he was shocked when he was benched. Bill Self talked about how he wanted to be more physical, more aggressive. Tiller told me that's his goal this offseason. I think there was a feeling from Kansas they want to get bigger, more physical, stronger. So that pairing of Flory and Tiller at times just didn't really work. I think it was a clash of a little bit of personalities behind the scenes. So people shouldn't be super surprised that Bryson Tiller's in the portal. Marco Jamari, tough to see them leave. I know a lot of Kansas fans are probably happy about that, but they're program guys that love playing for Bill Self. But the expectation is, even if they had come back, they probably would have been recruited over and slid from 6th, 7th man to 10th, 11th man. It was the hope. Big Paul. I don't know what's going on with Big Paul. It seems like he intended to transfer the portal, but he hasn't entered the portal. So these international guys are always difficult to kind of make sense of what's going on behind the scenes there. Flory, rest in peace. I think the Flory back to KU dreams seem to be dead. I mentioned on the Payheat podcast yesterday, but I've had pretty constant communication with Flory's camp throughout the past year and a half, and that communication has died in recent days. And I don't know how much of that is them training to be mum because they're probably not coming back to Kansas, / all this stuff happening. But it's been an interesting portal season. I think for me the biggest thing is KU has 9 roster spots if Big Paul does enter the portal. That's a lot of roster spots to fill, and I think we're at the exact same position as last year, where you're just having to build it up. But I don't even know what they're building around this year because they haven't gotten Tyron Stokes yet, if they're getting him.
Well, yeah, and Stokes, I feel like, is one of the bigger dominoes to fall in terms of where Kansas is going to go in the transfer portal, right? If you get Tyron Stokes, all of a sudden, now you can look heavy on the big men, right? But right now, you probably need some shooting guards, need some guys to kind of fit around Tay Kinney right now. In terms of maybe some of the other guys that Kansas has been linked to, obviously, we heard Cameron Taylor was going to be on a visit, but now has apparently not. He's not going to be visiting visiting
He doesn't
Kansas.
have Kansas in his list anymore.
So
I was
he's
told.
out of his list.
It's completely
now.
off his list. He's
Interesting.
not considering. He said, we have decided to go the other way, is what his agent told me this morning.
Interesting. And so, I mean, do you have any more information on that?
Well,
in terms
tried,
of
I think
probably hard to pry that.
Pry out of. I mean, I appreciate him calling me and letting me know.
Sure.
But to be honest, I think reading the tea leaves there was probably a disagreement about what the role would have looked like for him next year. I bet you he wants to start. And looking at his numbers and kind of everything else, I think he would have been a guy coming off the bench for Kansas, ideally.
Sure. And I talked about a little bit about that yesterday, about how you're going to see Kansas get some not so sexy names, right? Because they just need to fill those spots. That's kind of a hard pitch. And I feel like you can talk to this a little bit, because I know you kind of have a little bit of a different viewpoint on this. But when you're trying to get a guy who is going to be the 9th guy off the bench or the 10th guy off the bench, that's when the name Kansas comes into play, right? Hey, we're going to kick you $20,000, but you get to play for Kansas, right? Do you also feel like that's probably the pitch whenever you're looking far down, looking for guys like G. Gala or, some of the other guys who are a little bit farther down the line, like Noah Shelby?
International guys, this whole, the name of Kansas should work. But, candidly, I don't know if most American guys care unless they grew up in the area or know this thing. Yeah, I'm sure it helps. But I think everything is coming down to dollar signs and role and the coach.
Sure.
Those three things are probably the things they look at. Also, roster fit. Last year, candidly, Darren had a lot of, in his camp, had a lot of influence into who Kansas was picking up alongside him. They wanted Melvin Council. They wanted Trey White.
Yeah.
Those were guys they wanted. And every potential transfer would tell me, oh yeah, it's almost like they're pitching themselves to me in a sense, where they'd be like, yeah, I'd be a great fit alongside Darren Peterson.
Right.
I would do X, Y, Z, man. I told them that I will do anything to help him. Abdi Bashir last year was the name that, that
K-State
really,
legend, right?
Yeah, and now he's going to St. John's maybe or Texas Tech or wherever.
Back in the portal.
But he was giving me this whole spiel about what I told the Kansas coaches, I'll do anything to be this complimentary player, blah, 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 blah.
Interesting.
I don't really know what the pitch is this year because I have no idea who they're building around.
Well, yeah. And again, it goes back to Stokes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they confident they're getting Stokes? And if they're confident they're getting Stokes, I'm curious to see, because I haven't had the chance to talk to players directly about any of their Zoom calls or visits yet, or whatever, if they've mentioned the name Tyron Stokes, because the mention of Darren Peterson was a constant. Last year I was told they didn't mention Flory because they were unsure, I think, but they said, the players would tell me that, they wanted to play alongside Floyd. What's the pitch this year besides, this potentially could be Bill Self's last year. Come help us win.
Well, and you can be a starter. Right away. Kansas still has, in theory, right, one starter with Cole, right? So.
Well, two. Taylor Kinney will start.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Taylor Kinney. Right. Yeah. So.
It's early.
It's early.
We'll get some guys. I remember when we had these conversations last year, and it was what are we gonna do? We got nobody there. But I am curious, the Stokes side of things, Shreyas. What is your thought process on it? Because you have a pulse on KU fans just as we do. I don't think KU fans are going to love the idea of paying Stokes a lot of money and then surrounding him by getting,
mid-major talent. just come out and say it. Mid-major talent.
What are your thoughts?
Well,
do you agree with that, first off?
I think I agree they would not love the idea, but I don't know what the alternative is. Is there somebody that's the equivalent of Stokes in the portal that can give you 18 points a game that you're missing?
If the money's right,
Darren,
you would think.
But I'm looking at somebody who would actually be to me. Okay, guys, candidly, the Tyron Stokes thing. There's also stuff that's not basketball related that I think about. He and his camp are interesting, are the words I'll use right now, because I don't really want to get into everything going on behind the scenes there. But look, candidly, I think they should go after Stokes for two reasons. It's good for the big blood, blue blood brand to have another potential top 3 pick after you have a potential top 3 pick at Darren Peterson. It's just good for the Kansas brand. Number 2, I think Tyron Stokes is a very talented basketball player that him and Kinney have played together in AU basketball. There's some level of familiarity. I think it's easier to build around when you know what the building block is. So if the alternative is get Tyron Stokes and surround him with mid-major stars, or, don't get Tyron Stokes and theoretically get somebody worse at that spot that can score but can't do some of the other things that he does well, I think for me, I'd go Tyron Stokes and surround him with some mid-major stars. Like, we saw success with Trey White and Melvin Council. Obviously, Trey White was not a mid-major star, but he'd bounce around, different schools. Melvin Council was a great player for them. They missed on Jaden Dawson. I think the biggest thing is right fit alongside whoever they get at that potential 4 spot or 3 spot as the wing. If it is Tyron Stokes and you have Taylon Kinney, then you need to get a big man that can play alongside them, that can take the lobs, that can make it easier from them, get the rebounds and stuff like that. Like, the goal for this Kansas team, I was told, is get stronger, bigger, more physical, still have shooting. Like, that's a lot. To me, like, they have a lot of spots to fill in. And I know that the budget for the roster expansion is expected to be higher than previous years, but it's not about the money at some point. It's just about the fit. And they probably have different plans and scenarios and this and that we have no idea and we're not privy to. But in my mind, it's a lot easier to build around Tyron Stokes and Taylon Kinney than it is to build around Taylon Kinney and blank.
Yeah. Shreyas Laddha from the Kansas City Star joins the show here in studio. Shreyas, there's 3,000 guys in the transfer portal right now. So give me your top 2,999 guys in the. No, give me like 2 to 3 names maybe that are floating around that you've either A, heard Kansas is linked to, or B, you think might be a solid pick for Kansas, maybe to kind of kick the tires on.
Day Ames. He's got a visit set Monday, former Kansas State guard, but really Cal Berkeley.
We'll forget that. Yeah, we'll remember the Cal thing.
Yeah, but he averaged 16. He seems like a good guy off the bench.
I wonder if he knows Henry. Cal.
Yeah, California.
California kid.
Yes.
Where's the scoop for the California kid for the California kid?
Right, exactly.
Like, come on,
they were
Henry.
neighbors back in the day.
Anybody from the Pacific Coast,
Like,
Henry.
He's got his finger on the pulse.
Yes, I expect him to have the number of the California kid ready to go for the rest of us. I have to talk to his agent, but he's the California kid, so we'll get his number.
Right.
Look, I think he's a guy to watch out for. I think Hill from VCU is another name that I've heard Kansas is interested in. He was basically, I think he made the all-conference team in whatever conference the VCU is in. What conference of A10?
They're in the A10, yes.
Oh, heck yes. Okay, great. My ball knowledge
Great pull.
was getting tested there for a little bit there. But, yeah, I think he's a guy they look at. I'm really interested in who the bigs they're looking at, because I haven't really heard a ton of this thing. I know Cyril from Georgia. I was excited there for a second. I was like, another Georgia dog.
Yeah, right.
But then it looks like he's going to Miami or something. So, yeah, I honestly am intrigued by who the bigs are, because it feels like we haven't really heard actual names Kansas has been linked to bigs-wise.
Well, yeah. And
Just
this is
a lot of I will say Diop.
Yeah.
I got a text message from a source yesterday, and the source sent me a text that had sent to Bill Self, and they were saying, hey, Bill, you should check out this guy. And Bill was like, yeah, tell me more about this guy. And
this is Masamba Diop from ASU?
Yeah, but that was last year.
Oh.
So Kansas was definitely interested in him last year.
I see.
Sure.
So I don't know how much they're interested in this year, or if he's within a price range. But they were absolutely interested in him last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kicked the tires a little bit on him.
Sure.
But it doesn't seem like there's any, inkling of actual, linking this year.
Makes sense. I've heard that's not really going anywhere in terms of for Kansas. It would be nice to have one half of the law firm.
It would be
Sham and Job,
Yeah.
but unfortunate. Henry
Greenstein, Case Sports. Henry, you look good. Did you shave?
Man. Yeah. Shreyas Laddha from the Kansas City Star. Shreyas, I'll transition over to football now. Obviously, we can get into spring ball and different things. I understand. Yes, it is. It really is mine. But for a former Jayhawk, I know you have an article coming out. This isn't going to come out until later. We're pre-recording this. Jalen Daniels, I guess you were telling me off air a little bit about how you were talking to his agent about maybe some potential different things.
Yeah. I had talked to a few different sources, but basically he had a top 30 visit, confirmed that with the Patriots, which is the big deal. The Patriots don't have a quarterback 3 this year.
Sure.
So Jalen Daniels,
Watch out, Drake May.
Yeah, maybe
on your heels.
But there's definitely some interest there. I had kind of been doing some digging about Jalen. Apparently, he's had a pretty good spring, and there are some NFL teams and scouts that are interested in him. And speaking of NFL teams and scouts that are interested in him, he had a 4 to 5 hour workout with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
And he met with the front office executives. He kind of talked to them. It seems like they were very interested in him.
Watch out, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is fine.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is shaking his boots.
I was told there's other teams, but that the sources that were telling me, they were like, we're like dropping them in like small increments. It's like the Joker or the Riddler. Like we're finding out clues about Jalen Daniels'
right.
draft stock improving slowly every week. So I'm adding to that by dropping the news about, the Kansas City Chiefs were actually very interested in Jalen Daniels.
Yeah. And then just another word, obviously we got the NFL draft coming up. We'll do some more draft talk with you, but just, any indication in terms of, however many Jayhawks are going to get drafted? Are you hearing anything? Your ear to the ground in terms of maybe some guys draft stock rising? I know Enrique Cruz is probably going to be one of them.
I think Enrique Cruz, I think Jalen will get drafted. This draft class is really weak for quarterback, and he's had a pretty good spring. I think those are the two guys I think will probably get drafted. Am I missing anyone that maybe Emmanuel Henderson?
I was surprised that Bryce Foster didn't get a bigger look.
Yeah, I feel like Bryce Foster should have gotten more play. I don't know. He might get picked up from somebody.
I think he'll get a little more play because it feels like offensive line talent just gets drafted based on measurables more than anything, right?
And he's got the measurables. He certainly does.
Yeah.
I think his tape wasn't quite as good this past year, though. If I remember, I don't know. I'm not an offensive line savant here, man. But it seemed like he was a little better the previous year or something.
Yeah.
But I think those two, Emmanuel Henderson could be, I think he'll be an undrafted free agent, and I think Bryce Foster will also be an undrafted free agent.
Okay.
But also, who knows?
Right.
I thought Devin Neal would be drafted a little higher than 6th round last year.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Well,
we all did.
He proved his worth there. When,
I said maximum he was going to be a 3rd rounder.
When he stepped in for the Saints, he proved his worth, I'd say. So hopefully he gets more opportunities and stays healthy this upcoming season. Last portal thing for you, then we'll get you out of here, Shreyas. I'm hoping it's not a portal thing. Your confidence that Cole Rosario will be back for KU? He's kind of the guy we're pointing to. We were talking in the opening segment about how, hey, he's already a fan favorite, but if you come back amidst the pomp and circumstance, everything that's been going on, then he's going to be beloved and kind of, maybe not the centerpiece, but he'll be a centerpiece because he shows a lot of things that, represent winning basketball and is a name that people recognize.
My delayed gratification goat, Cole Rosario. I hope he's back because I've never met a more mature 19-year-old in my life.
Absolutely.
Really fun to talk to. Great kid, great character. I know the staff loves him and his character. They love his work ethic. But I think they really want him to be able to shoot the ball next year.
Sure.
I think the longer we go on, the longer I think he's going to stay. But also, who knows, man? Stuff is so behind the scenes. I feel like it's truly 50-50. I think this about Cole Rosario. I know there was rumors that he wanted to stay and his family wanted to leave or wanted him to leave or something like that. I don't know if those are true or not, but I can say this. There are people in his family that are very close with a few different assistant coaches and head coaches in the Miami area schools or the Florida schools. So I was told that there are schools that have been paying attention to everything Cole Rosario does because they would love nothing more than to bring Cole Rosario back closer to home. So if he ends up in the portal, I bet you at least one of his visits or one of the teams that immediately reaches out is Miami, and the other team will probably be Florida State.
Sure.
Well, let's hope neither of those happen because, we would love to have him back. We love the connection that we have with the players here at KU, and we have to wait and see. And next couple of weeks, we'll figure out the answer to that question. We'll figure out where our former Jayhawks are going. And, I'm going to try to keep my personal feelings to myself on some of these guys and try to keep up the party line, which is to wish them the best.
You have a 2-hour radio show.
Yes, wish them the best is going to be my plan. Shreyas Laddha, Kansas City Star. Appreciate your time as always, my man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
More coming up after this on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Hey, what's up, Chuck Nation? What are we doing out here? And make sure you check out the new KansasNation.com. Rock Chalk.
APR plus $1,000 customer bonus. Or get 0.9% APR on a 2026 Tiguan. Luxury just got a new definition.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game in 2026 with Game Day.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Spring into something new at Family Leisure. Patio furniture. We've got it all. Chat height to bar height and everything in between. 5-piece dining sets only $9.99. Huge in-stock selection of deep seating and sectional groups. Customizable to fit your space. This aluminum deep seating collection now only $12.99. Make a splash. Pools and spas are priced to move. 30% off remaining pool tables, arcades, and other game room items. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Welcome back. Ding, 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 ding. Before that, though, Dan, tell us about our good friends over at Crown Automotive, some of the best sales and service staffs out there.
Love to tell you about Crown Automotive. Me and my fiance were looking for a car.
How about that?
Right now. And we've been working with somebody over there, and they have been truly, truly incredible in terms of flexibility on pricing. We're looking at Toyotas right now. We're looking at some other cars, but no better sales staff than Crown Automotive. They have been nothing but friendly towards us. So be sure to check them out over on South Iowa Street. Crown Automotive, a whole line of new Toyotas and Volkswagens, Toyota Tacomas, Tundras, Camrys, Corollas. They have Volkswagen Tiguans, Taos, Jettas, you name it, they've got it. And if you don't like those, I don't know why you wouldn't, because they're two of the best cars that you can buy. They have a whole line of used cars as well. So check them out, crownautomotive.com or crownmotorsvw.com.
Our founding partners here at Kansas Nation. All right, sports stock market. Dan, I know this is one of your favorite segments of the week. Let's kick it off.
So I'm going to start off here. Stock is down on cell phones. So apparently, I actually knew this. Augusta National, they have a no cell phone policy. They actually have like pay phones that are there at Augusta National where you can go in and call people. I know like reporters will use them and different things like that, but no cell phones whatsoever. And apparently Mark Calcavecchia, who won the 1989 British Open, turns out he wound up violating the no cell phone policy, and he got kicked out of Augusta National.
How about that?
Yeah.
Did he get a $1.50 pimento sandwich before he got kicked
I don't
out?
know. I've always wanted to try that. That is truly, I don't know what there is around Augusta, Georgia. I've heard it's not a lot. Like I heard Augusta is like a fine city. Like it's like similar to Lawrence maybe, which, Lawrence is obviously the best city in the world, but like I do want to go to the Masters someday, and I know there's like a lottery where for the tickets and all different kinds of things like that. I do want to go, but also that's like 12 hours just without a.
That's true, but
cell phone.
Wouldn't that be good for you?
Probably get out there, touch some grass,
in
the most perfectly manicured grass in the world.
Absolutely,
I'd be fine with that. But apparently, so the reason why I also bring this up is not just because of the fact that they have the no cell phone policy, but because. Apparently, this is from GFed Go Crazy, who, by the way, is a legit guy. Like, I know he has a funny name, but like he's the guy who goes to different sports arenas and tours around and makes videos. I actually love his videos. He had said a team will be trying this inside their stadium this year, referring to the no cell phone policy. He said, not speculation, actually confirmed it's happening. Somebody asked, give us a hint. He said it's going to be a college team. I don't know who it's going to be.
For golf?
No.
What are we looking at?
Inside their stadium.
Okay.
For football.
Oh, my God.
So some college team somewhere out there.
FIU.
Florida International?
Could be.
What? Yeah.
Pitbull Stadium.
Well, they don't want, because Pitbull goes to all those games.
Yes,
they don't
he's
want
probably put on a
paparazzi.
concert after each game.
True. Yeah, and he doesn't want people to record him, which makes sense. I'll be interested to see who that is. Again, GFed is like a legit guy who has legit information, and he's probably heard this from somewhere. He says, not speculation, actually confirmed this happening, that some college team somewhere out there is going to be no cell phones, which I kind of dig. Like, be there, enjoy the game.
You don't have service there anyway, so why not?
I can only imagine it's going to be maybe a lower level team, like maybe like a mid-major. Like, I bet it's like
I'm thinking it's FIU.
Like somewhere in the MAC, I'm thinking like Marshall's not even in the MAC. Are they? No. Or like a Ball State.
They are in the MAC. Can confirm.
Thank you.
Good
Kent
pull.
State. I'm just going to start naming MAC teams.
Okay,
Illinois.
let's see how many you can get.
No, they're in the Missouri Valley.
Actually, how many do you think you can get? Because I bet I can get all of them.
I think I can get all of them. Let me see. Ohio.
I bet you
Miami
can
of
get, I bet
Ohio.
you can get
Ball State, Kent State.
I bet you can get 6 total.
6? I can get more than that. Let's see.
You just said 4, so that's pretty good. I'm going to look them up.
Eastern Michigan.
So I'm going to let you have this.
Western Michigan.
Okay. Yes, you got to 6.
Thank you.
Oh man, one of these.
Central Michigan.
Yes.
Thank you. The Chippewas.
I underestimated you.
Thank you. I hit the over, so I don't have to prove anything else to you.
Okay, who else?
I don't want to say.
Who beat Miami of Ohio in the conference tournament?
Akron.
First loss. No, but Akron, yes.
Akron is also in the MAC.
Yes.
Who did beat them in the? I said Kent State. I don't know.
UMass.
UMass.
The Buffalo
I thought
Bulls.
UMass is in the.
No,
Sure.
UMass.
Whatever.
That's who beat Miami of Ohio in the conference tournament quarterfinals. Buffalo Bulls. The Bowling Green Falcons.
Bowling Green. How did I not get that? Shout out-
Toledo. I mean, that's an oversight.
Toledo.
You missed
That is
them.
a massive oversight.
And then, of course, the MAC team of all MAC teams, Sacramento State.
That's right, Sac State. Oh man,
good stuff.
What a guy.
All right, Zambonis.
I can't wait until Ball State and Sac State play. Because then, never mind. Hey, stock's up on Zambonis. We have a picture of this. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Utah Mammoth has a Zamboni that looks like a woolly mammoth, and it's awesome. Sorry for anybody listening on ESPN Kansas City right now, but we have a picture of it that's up. It is awesome.
Yes. Just to kind of fill in the listeners who are listening on ESPN Kansas City, they've got a Zamboni that looks like a mammoth.
I just said that. It has tusks and it has
the Zamoth.
It has a nose, trunk. It's got hair. It's fun. It's fun. I'm a big fan. It's called the Zamoth. I'm a big fan of this.
People are saying online that it might already be the greatest Zamboni of all time. I'd say top 50, top 60.
Name 60 other.
There's a lot of really, really good Zambonis out there.
60 other Zambonis. I name 3 other Zambonis that are better.
Regular.
Okay.
Extra long. Extra wide. And then one that looks like an elephant.
Sure.
All
right.
Hey,
So
Utah Mammoth, though. I was actually
top 4.
I was actually pleased with that choice of a mascot. Unlike the New Orleans Pelicans, which we still act like is normal. It's not. That's terrible.
Yeah, I wanted it to be Utah Yetis though. That was one of the other. It was a Yeti.
Xian Lei and Alan Fang.
Yes.
The law firm.
Stocks up on KU Swim and Dive.
We had to get this in, man.
For the second year in a row, Xian Lei takes Big 12 Diver of the Year, and Coach Alan Fang wins Big 12 Women's Diving Coach of the Year. Shout out to the Kansas Women's Swim and Dive team.
We do actually want to shout them out. 7 KU student athletes were named to the all Big 12 first or second team. That tied the program record. Xian Lei, as we talked about, two-time NCAA and CSCAA All-American. She is only a junior. You mentioned Big 12 Diver of the Year. Alan Fang, Big 12 Diving Coach of the Year. A lot of different Jayhawks were recognized, as I said. Also on the first team, in addition to Lei, Lizzie Van Leeuwen and Lydia Lafferty, and then all Big 12 second team, Gabby Dyer, Ryan Johnston, Ivy Solt, Lizzie Van Leeuwen as well is on there, and Tate Haig as well, all Big 12 second team. So shout out to KU Swim and Dive.
Shout out to KU Swim and Dive. By the way, a little side tangent, just because Alan Fang is so good at his job. John Kirby, actually, for Jayhawk Slant, told me that he thinks that the Kansas pole vaulting coach is maybe the best coach on campus at what he does.
How about
which
that?
Makes sense because only twice ever in NCAA history has a team had 2 pole vaulters go over 19 feet. One of them was Kansas this year, and one of them was Kansas in 2019.
How about that?
Shout out to Alex Bart.
But, I mean, I don't want to throw any shade at Andrew
Ashton
Derrick.
Barkdale.
Andrew Derrick's a great
Of course.
coach.
He's a great coach.
Yes.
And Bill Self. Stocks down on legacy guys. Dominique Williams' son, as you know, this past year played basketball at Georgia, where his dad played. So Georgia, what they did is they unretired Dominique Wilkins. I said Williams. Did I say Williams? Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins, obviously NBA legend, played at Georgia. They retired his number 21 jersey. His son Jake Wilkins goes to Georgia. They unretire 21 for his son. Then this year, his son enters the transfer portal. That is, and actually someone...
You can't do that.
Someone brought this up. He said that's why Matt Leinart refuses to let recruits at USC wear his number 11 because he said they're just going to wear it for 1 year and then
completely on
ship
Leinart's
off.
side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, could you imagine somebody wearing number 5 at USC?
So I assume they're going to retire it now.
Probably.
I think you just take that as a loss.
I'm trying to think. Is the number 48? That's not retired at KU, is it? For Gale Sayers? I think he's retired. I know there's a guy. Maybe it is retired.
We should know that. We've got a jersey up here.
We should know that. That seems like something that you and I would have our finger on the pulse of.
The thing with KU basketball, of course, is that they retired jerseys, not numbers.
Right. No numbers have been retired.
48's retired, and then 21 and 42.
Hadel, and then 42 is Ray Evans.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense. Surprised that John Riggins.
Yeah, they gotta re-retire that, man.
Yeah, the 21. I mean,
and just pretend like it didn't happen.
Do they have another ceremony though?
Kind of like Jake Wilkins pretended like his time at Georgia didn't happen. That's what Georgia needs to do.
Also true.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he told his dad, "Hey, man, sorry." But I bet, here's the thing: Dominique Wilkins is probably "Oh, well, they'll have another jersey retirement for me," which is fine. Imagine. I'm trying to think of any. There's not even a good example of this.
Bronny.
Because but LeBron didn't play at anywhere in college.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's not a good
Lakers can retire.
Kyan Anthony. Who is he wearing number 15?
No, he wore 7.
7, which makes sense, right? Because Carmelo wore 7 for the Knicks.
Yeah.
But that would have been a good one.
Although when I say
probably
here's a fun game. When I say Carmelo, what NBA team do you think of?
I think
because I would have thought Nuggets.
See,
okay,
I think Atlanta Hawks.
I'm going to pick 3 guys off the top of my head right now across sports, and we have to think if we think of the same
like this game
NBA, MLB team. All right.
See, I'm going to be honest with you because I'm a little younger than you, maybe a lot younger than you because you're so old.
Yeah.
I do think Carmelo with the Knicks. I know.
Well, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
Because I think of him with the Nuggets.
Vince
and
Carter.
Those jerseys. And that sort of thing.
Good one. Ray Allen.
Sonics.
Interesting.
Supersonics.
Weird.
Yeah.
I was gonna say right away. First one that comes to mind is Heat.
Yes.
For me.
Well, makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense. This is my game. Don't. That's my
all right.
game.
Well, I just wanted to hop in. That was an example.
No. Don't hop in.
Is that how games work?
Give me now. Of course, I'm blanking. I can't think of anybody.
Tony Gonzalez.
No, I'm thinking NBA. I'm trying to do NBA. I mean, Tony Gonzalez is obviously Falcons. Falcon legend.
Yeah. I always think Chiefs. I mean, just because. You ever think
I'm trying to think of one.
Adrian Peterson. You ever think Cowboys
Vikings.
legend or Lions legend?
Yeah, Frank
Adrian
Gore.
Peterson.
Jets, Dolphins, Bills.
49ers.
Yeah.
Actually, I think of him more as a 49er, which is weird. I feel like it should be probably maybe Bills because that was the most recent one, I guess. But I was gonna say Paul Pierce.
Well, yeah, I know, but
Washington Wizards.
You would go Nets, I'm sure.
Nets.
I have this.
Kevin Durant. Good one.
Oh my God, he's bounced around so much. Suns, Nets.
See, like when I think Kevin Durant, this is crazy.
I don't think Rockets.
Right away. I think Warriors, even though my formidable years were OKC.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Fun game.
It's a fun game.
Let's play that sometime.
Yeah, we
we'll
should do that.
We'll do a whole
New
segment.
idea.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
We've done that once, and it's not even a bad segment idea. I don't know why you give me so much crap for it.
I mean, we did it. It was a new segment idea. You had an idea. We did the segment.
Yeah, and it was
and then the segment ended. It was
a great segment.
Then we moved on.
Stocks down on Dan Orlovsky.
Lions.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, anytime I bring up an old player,
Oh God. Yeah.
First
I
team that
can't
comes.
snap. I can't.
You can't snap?
You hear that?
What do you mean you can't snap?
I can't snap.
I don't think that's like
all right. Dan Orlovsky.
Is that a thing people can't do? Snap?
Orlovsky. Yep. There you go.
That's insane to me. How do you applaud somebody at a slam poetry? You just don't?
That is not something that I've ever found myself in between.
You need to get more cultured. Stocks down on Dan Orlovsky. Lions. Ranted on Lamar Jackson.
Louisville.
Apparently, he went on ESPN and was throwing a fit saying, I can't believe Lamar Jackson didn't go to the first day of off-season workouts. Dan Orlovsky went on this whole 5 to 10 minute thing about how I just can't believe he did this. It's just everything's going bad for Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have an agent. He really hates it there in Baltimore. He skipped out on the first. He's a diva. Turns out Dan Orlovsky was just flat out wrong, and he was at the first day of off-season workouts.
What happened to Orlovsky? Because up until a year ago,
I liked him.
Yeah, he was a respected guy, and now all of a sudden he's hot take.
Yeah, he did have a nice moment. This was a couple days ago. I think it was on Autism Awareness Day, where his son actually came on to First. Was it First Take? Is he on First Take? Or one of those shows? Whatever show he's on. His son has autism, and he came on and showed him a bunch of pictures.
That's cool.
That was a really nice moment. Dan Orlovsky cried and all this stuff. Again, not exempt from criticism.
I do kind of remember that, actually. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a great moment. Not exempt from criticism because of this. Because that's just, you're just wrong. And you go on this 10-minute rant about how much of a diva he is and how he wants to shoot his way out of Baltimore because he wasn't at the first day of... that's kind of it's almost similar to the Gino Auriemma thing, where Don Staley didn't shake his hand.
Oh my God!
Here's the thing, by the way.
Video evidence.
Dan Orlovsky, he's been on this weird thing about how much he thinks that Ty Simpson is the number one quarterback in this draft class, and it's because Ty Simpson has the same exact agent as Dan Orlovsky. And he just wants his agent to give. That it's very apparently clear. I see. People see what's going on. That's why you're not a Fernando Mendoza guy. Is because Ty Simpson has the exact same agent as you. It's apparent. It's dirty. I don't like it. Also, by the way, because Dan Orlovsky played at UConn, he has to wear a clip-on earring for, I want to say it was a month. Adam Schefter tweeted it out.
Since they lost.
Yes.
That's
So.
cool.
For the next month, Dan Orlovsky now has to wear a clip-on dangling Michigan earring for the next month on every single show that he appears. And if he misses
the type of prank I can get on board with.
I'm glad with it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. I'm actually, and if he sticks, and also if he misses a day, then the month starts over.
Nice.
Which I love that too.
Right.
So big fan of that. Big fan of nice stuff like that.
I knew you were going to have conspiracies laid on me.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I want to dive into this because I don't know what the deal is.
What is going on with
Diana Rossini
and Mike Vrabel?
Yes. So our technically parent company, ESPN. Do we work for ESPN?
Shout out to everybody listening, by the way, on ESPN Kansas City. Kansas Nation.
So Diana Rossini apparently some pictures were released of her and Mike Vrabel holding hands and, as Elijah said, canoodling in a hot tub in a
alleged
canoodles, right? In some resort out in Arizona.
I would really like to go to a resort.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I really would.
Yeah. Diana Rossini is married. I believe Mike Vrabel is also married. So interesting thing there. Apparently, this story got pitched to TMZ for a mere $10,000. TMZ will pay millions of dollars for stories. This got pitched to them for $10,000. TMZ didn't pick it up. ESPN has not reported a single thing about it. Now, granted, ESPN is not typically in the realm of clickbait, Daily Mail, clickhole, things like that, right? They're not in that, but also it is interesting that nothing has been, and so apparently like this had to have come from somewhere in the top. Diana Rossini, she works at The Athletic now.
Okay.
So that's one interesting thing. Also, Diana Rossini actually covered the Titans back in 2018 for ESPN. That's kind of how she started at ESPN when Mike Vrabel was the head coach there. I don't know what's going on. I almost don't. Maybe I'll get more into this on Case of the Mondays. I need to do a little bit more digging.
I do as well. It seems more difficult than I thought it would be.
like people, like sports fans, like this is like all the rage, and there has been radio silence amongst the conglomerates about this. Like, and it's not the fact. And I did say that ESPN's not really in this line of work, but also like, do you remember when Tiger Woods had his affair? Like that was all that was on ESPN,
Right.
and that was back when ESPN was like a relatively respectable, like a massive thing, like SportsCenter. You know what I mean? And that's all the rage for like 2 months. Now, it's like something like this happens where you got Diana Rossini and a head coach of an NFL team allegedly canoodling, and nothing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to read more into it.
Yeah, we'll see what comes. We'll see what comes about this weekend. Last thing for us here.
Last thing for you. Stock is down on tanking. So some guy on Reddit, Keylone Fornia 6969 on Reddit. I don't know what that means. He apparently has a way to end tanking in the NBA, and I'm in on it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, attention Adam Silver, just stop tanking, never mind lottery odds or what the NBA what if the NBA just tied beer prices to dynamic pricing and wins and losses? So think about
Love it
this.
already.
All arena beers start the season at $10 league-wide. For every win, the teams can sell beer for 35 cents more. And for every loss, the team must drop the beer price by 20 cents. If this were in place right now, the Washington Wizards would have to pay 10 cents every time somebody ordered a beer.
They would have to pay 10 cents?
They would have to pay 10 cents. That's how bad the Washington Wizards are right now. Now, Adam Silver presented something where he said that the bottom three NBA teams wouldn't be considered in the lottery. But also, I do not like that because then that sets up the bottom three teams just to never be able to get any better.
Right.
And always have a pick 14 or later.
Interesting.
But I like this dynamic pricing when it comes to beers. We've talked about the dynamic pricing when it comes to ticket sales. But I like the fact, I'm a big fan of this Keylone Fornia 6969.
I think the dollar sign, I think there'd have to be a few more dollar signs for this to.
Sure. But also the Washington Wizards don't want to be paying 10 cents every time somebody gets a beer. You don't know why, because they're losing money.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't know if that's enough.
I think it's enough.
Because nobody's going to Wizards games.
All right,
because
so
they're 17-61.
So the dynamic pricing would in turn, I think the dynamic pricing for tickets would be a lot better.
I like the idea, though. It just needs to be a little bit tweaked. But I like it. I like it. That's our sports stock market for today. After this, we're going back to the KU football building and hear from Kansas football running backs coach and assistant head coach Jonathan Wallace. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Hey, Kansas fans. Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching Kansas Nation.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
Spring into something fun at Family Leisure, America's largest pool and spa dealer. Don't miss out. Buy your new pool today. Enjoy it all summer. Spring specials on hot tubs and swim spas. Spas from $34.99. Go with the pros. Fast professional delivery and installation. Check out this season's hottest patio furniture designs. Family Leisure also offers the highest quality chemicals, toys, and accessories to keep the fun going all summer long. Your one-stop shop for family fun. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Custom Lawn and Landscape, partners of us here at Kansas Nation.
Custom Lawn and Landscape. Hey, is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Well, guess what? At Custom Lawn and Landscape, they make achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited now to be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part, Sean. The first application is 100% free. That's right. Plus, their expert grub control is guaranteed to prevent lawn damage before it even starts. Don't settle for patchy, weedy yards. Grab a lush, healthy, green, plush, fluffy lawn. Grab the lawn that you deserve. Call Custom Lawn and Landscape today or visit customlawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident.
Kansas football running backs coach Jonathan Wallace yesterday. Here he is.
Yeah, for so many years you had a lot of the same guys with like just having a fresh, not entirely, but a fresh group of yours.
No, it's I've mentioned this a few times to people, just in general. This is probably by far the most fun because you're learning a lot of just their abilities, right? You're learning a lot of what they can pick up quickly, maybe what not so much. How much time you need to spend with each individual. What type of habits are they building outside of the time with me, and guiding those things, right? Guiding the what they're learning on a daily basis, what their routines are in the mornings, and really just helping them along, to reach their full potential in those ways. And so it's a lot of fun, and they're a fun group. So.
You guys added 3 running backs in the portal. When you guys went into the offseason, what were some of the traits or things you guys were looking for as you rebuilt the room?
Yeah, definitely wanted some diversity in run styles, right? But definitely, I would even say guys with experience, right? Those were some of the pieces that kind of went into that. Maybe similar schemes in some ways of what we do went into it as well. I know, especially in attracting and getting the type of players that we need to play at a high level. We spent a lot of time at that, right? And really just pleased so far with what we were able to get, but there's still a lot of work to do and having a lot of fun doing it. So the guys have been really attentive those ways, and everything that we really wanted to get, right? I believe we were able to go and achieve that, just in terms of what we were looking for. And so far it's been a lot of fun and a lot of explosive plays, a lot of powerful runs, some yin and yang going on, right? And just continue to those guys are starting to fill out each other as well, right? Of their play styles and learning from each other, and it's been a ton of fun that way.
How would you describe Yasin and what made him an appealing choice for you guys?
Yeah, I think outside of just jumping over people, right? I think just needless to say, just how explosive he is for how big he is, right? Gosh, he's almost as tall as I am, and he's every bit of 230, and he can pick his knees up and put them down, and so, but also to his vision, his change of direction in the box. I think he does a really good job of, being vertical as a runner and, those are really a lot of the things that what we hope for in finding him and the type of player that he is. But also too in pass protection. Somebody that can pick up blitzes. Somebody that can hold a point for us in some third down situations, maybe even early downs. And so there's a lot all around that he can do that we've been really pleased with so far. From him, and I still think there's still a ton that he can improve at. And he knows that as well. He's eager to get it done. And that's the positive piece in all of that. So really, really proud of really the whole group, of how they've been able to attack this spring so far.
What surprised you most about Kory in his first couple weeks of practice?
Yeah, his retention, right? I mean, we've thrown a lot at these guys, and he's really been able to pick up a lot of it. But you also see just the time that is spent outside of time with me, and he's really studying a lot. All the different teaching tools that we have. We're able to. He's utilizing every piece of, our XOs and Just Play, and just kudos to him for utilizing those pieces that we've provided. But also coming and spending time with me, right, and watching film and studying and learning more of the offense and getting the bits and pieces, just the minor details of every play. He's done a really good job of focusing, but also too, as we play football, right, and we're down for down on things. He's doing a really good job of resetting and refocus. You hear Coach Z talk about that a lot in the quarterback room. We kind of adopt that as well as backs of just refocusing ourselves after every play, flushing the last play, moving on to the next play. He does a really good job of that. So,
Lance talked about Kory and his ability, and kind of made it sound like, hey, he's got what it takes to play as a true freshman. I mean, are you seeing that?
Yeah, no, he's coming along. And he's super impressive for a freshman. I mean, obviously, just the body type, the body makeup. I mean, he's ready physically, and now the mental piece is coming along and attaching to that as well. He's playing fast. He's playing confident, and that's what you want to see in every guy that you have in the room. And I'm super, excited just to see how he continues to develop. Just different little fundamental pieces that we're continuing to work on right now, but super impressed with how he's picking it up. And honestly, it gives young guys a chance, right? Being an early enrollee, allowing us to be able to work with him early. He's putting himself in position to be able to take the field for us. And I'm really, really proud of the work that he's put in so far.
In general, not having a couple guys this spring, how have you dealt with that, and maybe what has that done for the other younger players who get more opportunities as a result?
Yeah, I think just goes back to development, right? I mean, the more reps guys can take, the better, because they can learn from those reps. But also even guys that are not maybe taking reps are doing a great job of mirroring every play, standing behind and seeing what's going on with the offensive line, seeing the different defensive structures that are being shown, and really just walking out their assignments mentally for themselves. But for the young guys, like I think in everything, it just gives them that opportunity to not just get better, but also be able to fail and mess up things and get it corrected, and be able to take that next step, see where they need to develop and continue to work at, what's consistently showing up that they're doing well, what's maybe consistently showing up that's not so much. We're able to pinpoint those pieces to take that next step for them. And I think they've done a really good job of taking advantage of all those reps. So I think it's been really good.
Coach K said he was surprised a little bit, maybe because of off-field demeanor, how competitive Dylan is when he gets out there. What's your perspective of that, and what have you seen from him?
Yeah, no, with his personality, he's not going to say a whole lot. But man, when he takes the field, he is just a lightning in the bottle, man. And he is super excited. He's super passionate with how he plays, and his demeanor in the game of football in itself. He's super mature, and I've really enjoyed every moment just seeing him. I wouldn't say come out of his shell, but just showing who he is, right? Showing the type of player that he is, and it's been a ton of fun seeing him just show that passion, and his teammates been able to see that passion that he has, and the will to win, right? The will to win every single rep that he takes. And it's been a ton of fun, and the guys have really enjoyed it. And he's gotten people fired up. As whatever, as quiet or however you want to put it. I think it's just him being him. But when he shows up on the field, I mean, guys get pretty juiced up about just his ability. So it's been fun.
What was
a ton of fun.
that like for you when you found out he's coming? I mean, that's a piece not
Man,
every team has.
It was super exciting because we all know his abilities, right? Like you see it everywhere that he's been, and just even seeing him in high school and how he's developed, to the type of player that he is now. It was super exciting, man. And finally, get a chance to work with him here at Kansas, man. And he even told me this, like, Coach, man, I'm super happy to be here. And he told me, he's like, this is where I feel like I should have been, and just super happy for him, man, and looking forward to continuing to work with him.
You saw him enough back then to kind of know what he was coming out of high school. How different from then to today? Obviously, guys mature, but
yeah, I mean, obviously he's body type wise, like he's sticking up. Yeah. I think he's still super explosive like he was then. I think his ball skills have really impressed me a ton. He's got really good ball skills, not just out of the backfield, but down the field as well. And Coach K's, he's excited to work with him, man. So he's cooking up some stuff. So it's going to be fun.
Anything else for Coach Wallace? All right. Thanks, everyone.
That's KU football running backs coach Jonathan Wallace. Always love catching up with him. Of course, he helped coach Devin Neal, who had a lot of success last year. Year one in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints, and excited about this backfield this upcoming season. Yasin, Willis, and Dylan Edwards. Of course, Jalen Dupree, Kory Amachree, who we heard from earlier as well.
Yeah, and when you look at what Jonathan Wallace did, obviously his job was really easy when you had a guy like Devin Neal. But then you're able to see what he has done post Devin Neal. And when you look at Daniel Highshaw and, Le'Shawn Williams from last year, you look at some of the other things that he's been able to do with some of the running backs and development of the running backs, it has been really, really impressive, right? And when you're bringing in guys with experience who are going to have to be able to learn this style of offense under Kotelnicki. I think that Jonathan Wallace does an excellent job in terms of development, in terms of getting their minds ready, in terms of running them through drills and just preparing them for game day, right? He's not resting on the laurels of Devin Neal anymore. He's kind of proving himself as to, hey, I can actually do this. And he had a big part, by the way, of making Devin Neal who he was.
One more spring football week we'll have coverage for you here on Rock Chalk Sports. Couple media availabilities. Tomorrow, again, the open practice at LHS. Doors open at 10 o'clock, and practice will be at 11. Take the kids. Should be a lot of fun over at Lawrence High School. After this, talking KU baseball. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game and
APR plus $1,000 customer bonus, or get 0.9% APR on a 2026 Tiguan. Luxury just got a new definition.
Spring into something fun at Family Leisure, America's largest pool and spa dealer. Don't miss out. Buy your new pool today. Enjoy it all summer. Spring specials on hot tubs and swim spas. Spas from $34.99. Go with the pros. Fast professional delivery and installation. Check out this season's hottest patio furniture designs. Family Leisure also offers the highest quality chemicals, toys, and accessories to keep the fun going all summer long. Your one-stop shop for family fun. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. come see us at Jocelyn's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Jocelyn's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Jocelyn's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
Spring into something new at Family Leisure. Patio furniture. We've got it all. Chat height to bar height and everything in between. 5-piece dining sets only $9.99. Huge in-stock selection of deep seating and sectional groups. Customizable to fit your space. This aluminum deep seating collection now only $12.99. Make a splash. Pools and spas are priced to move. 30% off remaining pool tables, arcades, and other game room items. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
His family are partners of us here at Kansas Nation. Joslyn family, proud to have earned the trust of 3 generations of customers over at Joslyn's Jewelry. Again, they've been in the industry for 40 years. They're the jeweler that you will recommend to your friends and family. That is their reputation. A lot of times customers come in, say they got a quote on a ring for $400, and Joslyn's can fix that ring and make it look nice and shiny and beautiful for under $200. Gary Joslyn and his family, go give them a visit, 95th and Antioch, in front of the big grocery store. Tell them the guys at Kansas Nation sent you. We're going to talk KU baseball, but first, KU softball. They are in the top 25 in the national conversation in both D1 softball and Softball America polls. They're receiving votes in the NFCA and USA softball rankings as well. They host Baylor this weekend after their first ranked conference series win since 2024. That was over Arizona State. Looking forward to that doubleheader going down today, and then the weekend's going to include tomorrow. So shout out to KU softball. They're 27-11, 8-4 in Big 12 play. It's been really impressive. And Dan, a big weekend as well for KU baseball, brought to us by Custom Lawn and Landscape.
Yeah, beautiful lawns don't happen by accident with Custom Lawn and Landscape. KU, they're hosting number 12 UCF right now. It's going to go through Sunday. Looking at it right now, Matisse Nayral is on the mound for the Jayhawks here in the opener for UCF. You got Don Vagley tomorrow, and then it's TBD for the Sunday starter. You probably are wondering why that is. It's because, Bodie Ray did pitch against Nebraska in the bullpen, and then also when you look at it, Kansas might have to go to the pen and use Bodie Ray. You mentioned this to me off air. They might have to use Bodie Ray out of the pen for these first couple of games. So we don't know exactly who's going to be the Sunday guy, but this is going to be probably the biggest series for Kansas, at least up to this point in the season. If you can knock off a top 12 team in the nation, Kansas is certainly going to be able to get into the national rankings, as well as they can hop UCF and get the number 1 spot in the Big 12.
And it's important to get a good start tonight. Again, trying some different things with the Jayhawks. We've seen Vagley on Fridays. We've seen Bodie Ray on Fridays. And now we're going with Matisse Nayral. So switching it up a little bit, the bottom line is the offense has been so good that even if the pitching hasn't been spectacular, Kansas has still been winning. They just knocked off Nebraska, who's a top 20 team. And Nebraska was 15-0 at home before the Jayhawks beat them on Tuesday. Kansas overall 23-10, 9-3 in Big 12 play. UCF, who's ranked number 12 in the country, they are 10-2 in Big 12 play. And go through UCF numbers really, really quickly. UCF is 6th in the conference. Believe it or not, they're 6th in the conference in scoring. What they do really well is pitch, and that's something that Coach Fitz talked about. We heard from him a little bit earlier in the week. They are 2nd in the conference in pitching are the Knights. Kansas is 8th in batting and 8th in pitching. So despite the struggles that we've talked about with KU, they still are kind of middle of the pack. Kansas has been so good in the clutch. That's been important, and they've also been able to knock the ball out of the ballpark. Mungarieta, Tyson LeBlanc, the Big 12 Player of the Week, have been spectacular. Looking forward to that 3-game series. Let's get a couple series victories for KU baseball and softball. Want to shout out Elijah Schmidt, assisted by Dylan Brett today, running the operations, the Kansas Nation studio. Of course, next week we'll have all sorts of coverage for you, not just softball and baseball, but all transfer portal talk, last week of spring football as well. For Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying thanks for listening on ESPN Kansas City and watching KansasNation.com.
What's up, everybody? Dan Peterson. Everybody go check out Kansas.
APR plus $1,000 customer bonus, or get 0.9% APR on a 2026 Tiguan. Luxury just got a new definition.
Hey there, I'm Nick Schaefer.
I'm Greg Gurley.
And this is Between Two Fountains. It's not an original name for a podcast, but it's our name, Greg.
Love it. A lot of time and effort went into that name, and that's all we got.
As far as you know. Hey, we're going to talk about our two favorite topics, Kansas City area sports and nonsense. That about covers it, right?
I'll handle the nonsense.
Yeah. We'll have the best guests as well, and the worst jokes come around every single week on Between Two Fountains.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important